welcome to the second Anthrocon online dance competition. I'm your host, Zeke Haida, and I'm super excited to be coming to you live through the magic of the internet on this 4th of July weekend. And I hope everybody's celebrating well and safely and staying as cool as possible, especially if you're in the Pacific Northwest. So, as all of you probably know, due to public health and safety concerns around having large gatherings, plus the fact that many of us can't travel yet, we're back on the virtual stage instead of the big one for 2022. But hopefully, if we're able to continue working together and staying socially distant, we can beat this thing and be back together for 2022. So, with that being said, I hope that you're all just as excited as I am for this year's competition because we've got almost 40 participants that nearly submitted videos from all around the world from different venues, including their homes, their local parks, their local gyms, and other cool places. And out of those nearly 40 participants, we have 22 finalists. Yeah, you see, 2 and 2 here makes 22. 22 finalists that have made it through and will be showcasing on this year's online fursuit dance competition. Just like last year, our format is fursuit dancers performing for 2 minutes, dancing at home or in any space that they can find, getting creative and showing us why they've qualified for today's stage. Now, I'd like to introduce our judges that will be reviewing all of these dancers for today, and hopefully I've got the judges on screen with me. There they all are. Hi, judges. Everybody wave. Everybody show off your best face to the camera right there. Now I'm going to introduce our judges, starting all the way from the very left side. I can't recall what side that is. It looks like the very right side. Starting with our first judge over there. This judge is an amazing competitor and winner of multiple dance competitions all over the East and West, and a funky monkey who blends contemporary and funk seamlessly together. Everybody make some noise for Beta Monkey. Woo! Beta Monkey, we love you. I'm your biggest fan. All right, and moving over to our second judge in the middle over there, we have third place in last year's online dance competition, but winner of way too many others. Like, seriously, this guy's got to stop winning. I don't know about you all, but he's got to stop winning because there's going to be no comps left for the rest of us. But he's an amazingly adorable character with a monstrous appetite for dancing. Everybody, show some love for Yuki. Whoa, Yuki, I'm your biggest fan. Let me get into your Telegram messages. And last but most certainly not least, right beside me over here, we have our third judge, a member of Last Fur One, the crew that I happen to be a part of, and a big inspiration for many of today's top dancers, including myself, one that I would consider an OG of the fursuit dancing scene, but still got more than enough swagger to take on all the young whippersnappers out there. Everybody, give it up for Kendi! Kendi is amazing dancer. All three amazing dancers and judges, very, very skilled in their craft. And they will be reviewing our dancers today on 5 different criteria points. They're going to be reviewing our dancers on execution, which is how well you do your moves, originality, which is how unique you are with your moves, my dynamics, which is how dynamic is your dance, how much wow factor it has, musicality, which is how well your dance matches with the music that you've chosen, and overall showmanship, which is, did your dance entertain us? Did it provide that, oh my goodness, I want to see that all over again factor? So these 5 criteria points will be what all of our judges are looking for when it comes to determining who this year's top 3 placements are. Now, I know I've done quite a bit of talking, and all of you out there are probably hungry to see some dancing action, so let us know how you guys are feeling about this year's dance competition out there. I want to look over to my other screen over there where I've got the dance competition chat open. Everybody's going a woo, everybody's going meow, everybody's going grr, everybody's going yeens are not stinky, especially that last part, yeens aren't stinky. But enough about yeens not being stinky and all that kind of stuff, because we're not here to discuss that. We're here to watch some dancers, and I hope everybody's ready because, like I said, we've got 22 amazing dancers lined up for all of you tonight. So let's start with our very first dancer coming onto this virtual stage, starting us off with some elegant and traditional sword dancing. Please, everybody, give it up for Aquarius Crystal Wave. Wow, what an absolutely beautiful way to start our competition this year with not only an absolutely breathtaking scene and performance, but also a very inspiring message and one that is extremely relevant in today's conversations. But of course, we want to hear from our judges on what they thought of that beautiful performance. And today we're going to start off with Beta Monkey all the way over there. So, Beta Monkey, let us hear what you thought about Aquarius Crystal Wave's breathtaking performance.
Thank you, Zeke. I just have to say, first off, it's always a pleasure to watch Aquarius's performances. Every single time you come up on stage or on camera, you are bringing something completely unique to our stage, and I think today was no different. And honestly, it was always a treat to get this unique contemporary kind of take on some of the stuff that we do in our dance community. Really enjoyed the scenery that you pulled in with that and matched everything together, and strong musicality with the music. And really, it was just a great message and a great performance. Thank you.
Absolutely agree. Thank you so much, Beta Monkey, for those kind words. And again, everybody give it up for Aquarius Crystal Wave, starting off our competition this year with not, again, just only a beautiful message, but a beautiful performance. So let's keep those good vibes going and switch things up a little bit in terms of the kind of dancing we're seeing, because next up, we've got ourselves a duo. In fact, we've got ourselves a dynamic duo that I believe is new to Anthrocon stage, whether it be in person or online, but I don't think that takes away from their quality whatsoever. So let's see what they've got for us this evening. Everybody give it up for Ash and Sequel.
Somehow we gotta find a way, no matter how many miles it takes. I know it feels so good right now, but it all come falling down when the night meet the light, turn the day. Can't stop, then you won't stop. I know just how that feel when you're on top till the ball drop. You never seem to be so real. It feels so good right now, but it all come falling down when the night meet the light, turn the day. Feel it a little, feel it a lot. I'm swimming a bit but deeper in thought, keeping my head on top of my shoulders. In the spit, I'm out of the box. This the level I'm on, mean it all right now and forever is gone. Baby, the weather is strong, whether it's hot or cold, we're coming knocking on your door. Well, I'ma maintain, I'm staying so high. Took the ladder all the way up till we touching the sky. And you know you're dead wrong, you in love with a lie. All I wanna do is free your mind. We don't see no lines, we don't color aside. It's a very small world, we don't the size. Yeah, see the bigger picture when it's beneficial. Loving how it fits you, blow the whistle when you run out of time. Yeah. Texas timeless Pokemon and bottle rockets, Dunkaroos and real monsters, Capri-Suns dry in the bottle. You think that your space goes, you won't, it goes too cold. So now I go my way and you go yours.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, when I was talking about a change of pace and attitude, I think we've got the perfect duo that provided all the attitude that we needed for this kind of competition. I mean, we just went from a beautiful to absolute, like, savage, and I love it. I'm here for it. I mean, we love the diversity in styles. And speaking of diverse styles, our next judge who will be providing feedback on this dynamic duo is going to be none other than Yuki. So Yuki, let's hear what your thoughts are on just the versatility of this dance and what you appreciated about it.
Hi. I thought that this performance overall was really unique because it's really hard to bring in two people and make a very fluent, I guess, choreography to make sure everything kind of like blends together, right? When you guys were doing your moves, like when you're right behind each other. You guys were doing great jobs, kind of just like making sure that you guys like flowed in and out very well. But I guess when it comes to like your freestyle sections, my thing when it comes to that is that you gotta make it look like it's all part of the choreography. It looks like you guys are just like kind of taking turns. So like having a move that you guys can both do to make it one part of the choreography can kind of help. I can kind of elaborate on that more. If you guys would like to DM me at any time, you can find my contacts. I can definitely get to you. But I would love to talk to you more on that. But overall, amazing performance.
Yeah, awesome stuff indeed. Thank you so much for those insights, Yuki. Very, very important, especially because we're seeing more and more of these group performances coming to us at these dance competitions at AntherCon and everywhere else. But we're going to switch gears and go back to the solo competition right now, which is all part of the same competition, but being a single person or a single fursuiter doesn't take away from your skill. And in this case, this next performer happens to be a small pup, but with some very big moves. So, everybody, please make some noise for none other than CJ.
Down, freezing cold. That's how we already know when it's here. My dog will probably do it for Louis Bell. That's just all he know, he don't know nothing else. I tried to show him. Gone on you with the pick and roll. Younger Flame, he in sicko mode. This here with all the ice on in the booth. At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys hopping our coast. Way too big when we pull up, give me the loot. Was off the Remy, had up at post. This what you wasn't know. Sunset. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, when you throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. 713 through the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key in Onyx, find a rider. When I'm pulling up right beside you.
Oh my goodness. Who said good things didn't come in small packages? Because I think we just saw a whole bunch of good stuff in that small pup whose name is CJ. And I mean, I don't know about the rest of my judges, but watching that back bend just now, that bridge, oh, wow, goodness. I feel like I need to go and get like my painkillers or something because I don't think I could do that in a million years. But I know that there's a judge that's on our panel that could probably relate to the whole, small package, but big attitude, big energy. And it's none other than, of course, Kendi right beside me. So, Kendi, let's hear what you had to think about CJ's performance.
Yes. Oh, CJ. Wow. I was hooked from right the beginning of it. I love how I could see the musicality. I could see what you were hitting. And that's most important as a dancer is to find those different beats and to hit them so that we as people who are watching can see it and also be drawn into that energy. The only thing I saw that I could have felt a little more as also a dancer was the energy, the actual like push of every move. While the moves were there, I just needed to see just a little more energy, like a little more push on that move, a little more, flow on that one. And then another thing as well is just connecting your moves. For instance, not stopping in between each one, just try and flow into every move and connect them. So when you connect them, we can see them even better. But otherwise, I love the energy. I love the creativity, and the musicality was on point for me. So keep it up.
Absolutely. From one small pup with a big attitude to another. Thank you so much, Kendi, for that wonderful insight into CJ's performance. Now, coming up, we're going to keep on the theme of some, not necessarily pups, but some hounds. And in this case, we've taken the small pup and we're going to now evolve it into a fierce hound with a fierce name and a fierce game. And I think you'll all understand what I'm talking about when we bring him onto the virtual stage. So everybody, let's hear it for our next performer, Hallow the Hellhound.
Billy.
What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go?
Come here.
Say it, spit it out. What is it exactly? Your pain is the amount cleaning you out. Am I satisfactory? Today I'm thinking about the things that are deadly. The way I'm drinking you down, like I wanna drown, like I wanna end me. Step on the glass, staple your tongue. Bury a friend, try to wake up. Cannibal class, killing the sun. Bury a friend, I wanna end me. I wanna end me. I wanna end me. What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go?
Oh my goodness. I don't know about the rest of my judges, but I was really liking those, cutesy and, sort of like happy feel vibe, things that we were getting from the previous performance. And then all of a sudden I got the heebie-jeebies. I mean, I don't know if it was because of the whole hellhound or the whole, suddenly the lights went out in the middle of that performance. But I mean, that was definitely a riveting performance. And you know how we talked about uniqueness earlier? That one was definitely unique in my books, but let's hear from what Beta Monkey has to think in terms of Hellhound's performance. Beta, what did you think?
I'm just say straight up, that is probably the cleanest performance of a Billie Eilish track I have ever seen in this fandom. Just straight up, like you were sharp, crisp, clean, hitting every note you could, and great dynamics in this, and just the theatrical element of it too just really brought it all together. I honestly don't have really a whole lot of criticism for this one. I'm just happy I got the chance to experience this. This was great.
Absolutely. And I think that everybody watching right now from the comforts of their home or wherever you are agrees with you, Beta Monkey. So everybody, again, one more time for Hallow the Hellhound. Now, our next performer is bringing us back home. And by back home, I mean back home to where Anthrocon is supposed to be. And everybody that's been to Anthrocon before knows that we're always by the waterfront of the Allegheny River in downtown Pittsburgh. It's one of the most beautiful areas that I've seen for a convention. And if you've never had a chance to experience that waterfront, well, this next dancer has so graciously taken us back there with their performance. So everybody, let's hear it for none other than Karoo.
Look, I don't wanna fight you. You gotta know that I meant it when I said that I liked you. Or maybe just the idea. I bought it, the one, and I returned it like IKEA. Apologize, I'm not a mind reader. I need attention, so I try to be a crowd pleaser. It was easy till it got a little deeper. Now I don't know how to deal with you, so I'ma disappear. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. I'm a ghost. Every time you hit the phone. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. Hey, I know it's inconvenient, to change your background, but let's back down so you can see this is a problem I don't wanna put myself in front of. That's why I blocked you, cause I'm not the guy you should rely on, spy on, creep on. I don't know, you just ain't that type of. If I don't holler, let me go. I should've said it, but I didn't, and I won't. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. I'm a ghost. Every time you hit the phone. I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't.
Oh my goodness, Carew, what a fun performance that was. And I mean, I personally appreciated that thoughtfulness when it came to the backdrop as well. Like I said, Carew not only brought us back home to Pittsburgh, to where Anthrocon should be, but also gave us that beautiful sunset in the background. And I mean, I personally dig that kind of theme because I don't know, I like looking at pretty sunsets and long walks on the beach. And oh wait, this isn't my dating application. Oh, sorry, we're in the dance competition. Sorry about that. But thinking about Carew's dance performance there, I want to call on our expert Bun Bun judge Yuki and see what Yuki's thoughts are on Carew's performance just now. What do you think, Yuki?
So first of all, I love that all of your moves like had purpose. Like you didn't do anything without you wanting it to be part of the song. It was very, very adorable the way that you were kind of going along with it and everything. I guess it's really hard to do in Digigrade, but like trying to move around with more than just walking is something that will definitely bring more to it. And then with the patience, there could be some things that fill in some of the areas because there was a lot of like, oh, I hit this pose and I'm going to stay here. So yeah, you allow the audience to take in that moment, but there is also a lot of things that can be filling in that moment as well, if that makes sense. So overall, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it was super adorable. I loved it. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome stuff. I think all of us out there enjoyed it. So let's have one more round of applause online, in the chat, in person for Carew as always. Now let's keep that going with our next dancer. It's time to bring back some of that electro swing from 2015 that we all totally missed, right, everybody? Right? Am I right? Is it just me that misses electro swing? I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school like that. But regardless, we're going to bring it back to that electro swing goodness with our next performer. Everybody, give it up for Kessie. Oh man, I got a lot of nostalgic vibes here in Electro Swing back on our dance competition stage. And I know that, another judge that's up here also feels that same nostalgia because Kendi and I were both part of the dance competition scene back in, back during that heyday, I'll call it. So, Kendi, I'm going to call on you to help me out with this nostalgia because you and I have been around for a while. What did we think of that Electro Swing performance from Kessie?
Oh yeah, I'm so happy that I got to see some electro swing in here because I remember those days. Definitely Kessie was working it. Like I love how she was playing with the music. I could see it with her feet and her arms and stuff. Love the performance. Very bouncy, very fun, very cute. The only thing I would say is use the floor. I know there's not a lot in these videos. Some people don't have a lot of room, but back and forth, up, forward, and back. You did do that a little bit. And with the music again. Hitting those specific notes is a good way, like I said, to keep people kind of like seeing what you're hitting. When I saw your feet go, I saw that what you were hitting. So just connect it all together. Otherwise, I really enjoyed it. So.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kendi, for those wise words of electro swingdom. But before we move on to our next performer, I want to do a very, very quick plug because, of course, as everybody knows, furries, especially at Anthrocon, are an extremely generous and charitable group of folk. And one thing that we pride ourselves at Anthrocon for doing is giving back to those that are in need every single year. And in particular, after all the rough times that everybody has been through, our charity for this year at Anthrocon, Wildlife Works Incorporated, has been a little bit more in need than usual so that they can, keep up their, facilities, they can keep their operation going and ultimately continue helping all of our furry friends in need that are not able to help themselves. So if you're able to, and I was going to say if possible, please consider a very, very generous donation towards Wildlife Works. We want to be able to help our charity friends. We want to be able to help all of our four-legged furry friends or, all friends that can't speak for themselves. And let's show our charity what it means to be a part of this community that is here at Anthrocon. So please, on behalf of everybody on Anthrocon, we thank you for your generosity and let's keep that love going with our charity. All right. Well, let's move on to our next performer. Our next performer is so smooth with their moves that apparently their face can't handle it and it kind of fell off. I'm not sure who wrote those notes. It was probably me when I didn't have my coffee, but it's okay because you'll see what I mean. So everybody, give a warm welcome to Keffy.
This ain't build up. You don't get to pick and choose. Different than bigger. If my eyes are brown or blue, this ain't build up. I'm filled with flaws and attitudes. So if you need perfect, I'm not built for you. Bob the Builder broke my heart. Told me I need fixing. Said that I'm just nuts and bolts. Lot of parts were missing. Curvy like a corset. Virgin and a vixen. That's the kind of girl he wants, but he forgot. This ain't build up. You don't get to pick and choose. Different than bigger. If my eyes are brown or blue, this ain't build up. I'm filled with flaws and attitudes. So if you need perfect, I'm not built for you. Boys are always playing dolls, looking for the Barbie. They don't look like Ken at all, hardly have a heartbeat. Need someone who falls apart so he can play Prince Charming. If that's the kind of girl he wants, then he forgot. This ain't build up. You don't get to pick and choose. Different than bigger. If my eyes are brown or blue, this ain't build up. I'm filled with flaws and attitudes. So if you need perfect, I'm not built for you.
Oh my goodness, I can see what my notes meant when it said that they were so smooth with their moves, their face fell off. Maybe that's just what happens when, you're that good at dancing. I don't know. I'm not that great at dancing. At least I don't think so. That's probably why I still got my face. But aside from that point, let's hear from all the way over there from Beta Monkey, who I also know for a fact is super smooth with his moves. So Beta, what did we think of Kethy's performance?
Well, I wanted to say thank you, Kethy, for that performance. That was definitely, I think, honestly, the first time I've gotten the chance to really watch you at a dance comp. I know I've seen you around, but this is honestly my first time, and it was a treat. You have very clean moves, very nice, tight dime stops that really kind of accentuate the points in the music. There is one thing I did notice, and this is something, you have a sort of a really clean tick with your leg, and I like how it comes out. I would say maybe it comes out a little bit too often, and I want to kind of see a little bit more dynamic with that movement, find other ways to kind of really utilize the digigrade legs, and I know that's a challenge. But otherwise, I really enjoyed that. That was a great performance. Thank you.
Absolutely agree. That was a wonderful performance. And everybody, as always, show some love to Kethy. They absolutely deserve it, just like every dancer that we've seen so far. And we've still got plenty more because, that was only dancer number 7 out of 22, I believe. So if you're enjoying the show, we want to hear you in the chat and at home and online on social media. Tell us what your favorite moments are. Use the hashtag AmperCon2021. Share your favorite dancers, your favorite, oh my goodness, that was so cool moments. We want to hear it all from you. So let's keep that action going with our next dancer, whose name speaks of royalty. So let's see if they can take home the dance competition crown and prove this title that they've got. So everybody, let's give a warm welcome to none other than King Kai Butsu.
Don't you be a meanie, thought you wanted me to go. Why you tryna keep me teeny? It's a dreamy, wished it on a genie. I got fans finally, and she wanted them to see me. I thought you want this for my life, for my life. Said you wanted to see me thrive. You lied, just say to me what you want from me. Just say to me what you want from me. Hey Panini, don't you be a meanie. Thought you wanted me to go. Why you tryna keep me teeny now they need me. Number one is screaming. No, yeah, you used to love me. So what happened? What's the meaning? I thought you want this for my life, for my life. Said you wanted to see me thrive. You lied. Now when it's all done, I get the upper hand, and I need a big dance, not another fan. But I still want you as a fan. I'ma need to sit down, don't mean to make demands, but I need you to say to me what you want from me. Just say to me what you want from me. Look at the tech.
Oh my goodness. I was trying to count all the details in that performance, and I ran out of fingers, I ran out of toes, I ran out of things to count on my desk to, be able to count the number of details. But my goodness, I think that was one of the most detailed performances that we've seen so far in this performance. And I know that there's a particular judge on this panel that I know is an expert at details, especially with those small, intricate movements to small, particular parts of the song. So I'm going to call on Yuki Bun, who is sitting all the way over there, and get your take on what King Kai Butsu's performance did for you. So Yuki, let's hear from you.
Hello. All right. So overall, I love the energy on this. You definitely brought a lot to the song. The song is a little bit on the slower side of things for the most part. It does have that nice little hip hop kick to it in the back. So it definitely was. You were definitely able to kind of keep the moves flowing along with the music very well. it looked like you felt very comfortable on the floor for the short time that you were down there. I would definitely have loved to see a little bit more while you were there, as well as one thing that I would work on is different speed changes, because although like the beat has like a consistency to it, there are different ways that you can play around with it to kind of add on to the performance itself. But overall, great stuff. Be careful with your arms, because if you use them a lot, people will tend to like pick up patterns that you will do with that. So definitely make sure to like work on feet work and things along the lines of that too. Okay.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for that wisdom, Yuki. And, honestly, I can't even, say, anything about details, because half the time the details that I have are just like, look, that guy moved. I think he did great. Yeah. So that's probably why I'm hosting and not a judge right now. But we're not here to talk about my lack of judging skills. We're here to watch more dancers. And speaking of more dancers, we've got one that's actually submitting their video all the way from Thailand. Actually, I believe they're submitting it once again all the way from Thailand, from that delicious, aromatic, flavor-filled area. Wait, am I just thinking about dinner now? Wow. My mind gets distracted really easily, because whenever I think of Thailand, I think of Thai food, and I'm really hungry. But before I can go get some dinner, we're going to go watch this lovely, lovely performance by none other than Kyochi.
I caught it bad just today. You hit me with a call to your place. Ain't been out in a while anyway. Was hoping I could catch you throwing smiles in my face. Romantic talking, you don't even have to try. You're cute enough to with me tonight. Looking at the table and I see the reason why. Baby, you live in the life, but baby, you ain't living right. Champagne and drinking with your friends. You live in the dark, boy, I cannot pretend. I'm not faced, only here to sin. If you rain in your garden, you know that you can. Call me when you want, call me when you need. Call me in the morning, I'll be on the way. Call me when you want, call me when you need. Call me out by your name, I'll be on the way. Like,
I don't know if it's getting warm in here for any of you judges, but oh my goodness, I'm feeling a little toasty right now. I mean, it doesn't help that we're basically baking here in North America in most parts, but wow, I might need to just turn my fan over there up a little bit more, and maybe my air conditioning too. Maybe dump an ice bucket on my head or something. Wow. I don't even know. That's just far too much sass, even for this competition, I think. I think, Kendi, you're going to have to rescue me on this one, because you know a thing or two about being sassy on the stage, and that was a whole bunch of it, right, Kendi?
Oh, yeah, he was sassy. Like, that look, that move, like, everything about it was just my kind of style. Very groovy, very into it. I saw every movement. I saw what he was hitting again, the way he was turning around, his little movements. Just the whole thing. If I was in the audience, I would be screaming for that, because he just had it on point from beginning to end. I didn't see anything like he was connecting everything. His textures were great. His levels were great. He was moving around. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything negative that anyone could say about that performance. I mean, Oh, I think we're all too busy just like mopping our brows and, toweling ourselves off after that one because, yeah, just sometimes just gotta, bring the spice levels up, especially, the whole Thai food thing I was talking about. Man, I'm still thinking about dinner. We'll have to grab some Thai food later. Thank you so much, Kyoji, for that wonderful performance. But speaking of, food and tasty things and, the summer heat, this next performer that we've got, knows all about the right ingredients to make a summertime, dish taste even better, or even make a cool glass of lemonade to cool ourselves off with. But they also happen to be a hyena, so, extra points for that. Woo! Yay, hyenas! But let's see what they've got in store for this year's dance comp. So everybody, make some noise for Lemon the Hyena! Wow, that was a super fun performance, and I definitely felt that summer vibe in that a little bit, starting off with that Bruno Mars, then getting down and dirty with that, grimy trap. I mean, I absolutely love that, but let's hear from another funky monkey that I could definitely say appreciates that kind of playfulness with music selection. So, Beta, what did we think of Lemon's performance?
Well, I mean, aside from you stealing the first comment out of my mouth about that nice funk into that grime, no, that was I enjoyed that performance. There was a lot of dynamics in there that I really think stood out, especially switching up from a smooth kind of funk track into that hard hitting, maybe not super aggressive, but harder hitting grime trap. But if there's one comment I would say, in the second half, I would have liked to have seen you had a lot of energy in there, and what I wanted to see was maybe some more stop moments in there, something to contrast the high energy movement that you had going on in there. Give it a little bit more, some points to stand out, and really just kind of enjoy the white space as well as the energy. Other than that, it was a great performance. Thank you.
Awesome stuff, Lemon, and thank you so much once again for bringing that fresh summer vibe with that lovely, lovely lemon name. I mean, now I can't stop thinking about lemons. First it was like Thai food, now it's lemons. Now I want lemons sprinkled on Thai food. I should probably get some dinner after this. I keep on talking about that as if this was a dinner competition. This is the dance competition. See, get your mind back in the game. All right, well, speaking of dance competitions and looking at more dancers, let's move on to our next performer who is returning to our online dance comp from their entry last year. But this time, they've got another eclectic performance that'll definitely keep your eyes glued to the screen. So don't look away, because coming on stage next is none other than Matsuri.
何もない僕らからカラカラカラカラ鈴が鳴る退屈な夜だからリリリリリリリリンリン鳴らしてる星から響いてさうるさいばかりの歪んだ楽器をいびつに奏でてさ
Oh my goodness. I mean, that was a totally different song blend of genres that I have never heard before. And I found that strangely entrancing. Like it put me in a trance. And I don't know, now I feel like I need to like listen to that song over and over again. But wow, that was something different that I don't think I've personally seen before at these competitions. So with that being said, let's bring it over to our expert bun on the panel, Yuki, to tell us what they thought about that uniqueness that was brought to our competition in both the music and with the moves. So Yuki, what did we think?
So, honestly, you always have some type of unique song that you bring to the competition anytime I've seen you perform. So I'm not surprised, but the way that you move with your music is always very exciting and like almost mesmerizing to see. So my critique here, I would say that when it comes to your waving, you tend to kind of like try to keep it in front of you. At one point you did kind of pan it out, but it always came to the center of the body. So just make sure that you have many directions that you can take your waves. You have your sides, you have your up and down, and then you have in front of you, and you can bring it back behind you and everything along the lines of that. There are many directions that you can play with. Think of a 3D grid around you and just like try to play with everything that you have for you. Some great things about your performance is your levels, like you were able to jump, go back down to the ground, and kind of like keep it all flowing very well. So I was impressed. I love the performance. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I think the rest of the crowd can't say that they're not impressed when it comes to both that, very, very unique music selection and the high energy moves that we just saw. So give it up for Matsuri, everybody. Oh man, I just read our next performer's name, and you know how I said I was going to get my mind off of food? It's like you guys out there are trying to make my job so much harder because our next performer is definitely not food related in terms of their name. Just somebody out there get me some food or something. I need to call my personal non-existent assistant to get me something. But I'm certainly hungry to see this performance first before we get some dinner of any kind. So everybody, let's welcome onto our stage none other than McMuffin.
Let me hear you say, hey, Miss Carter. Say, hey, Miss Carter. Give me some. See me up in the club with 11 girls. Posted in the back, diamond fangs in my grill. Brooklyn brim with my eyes sitting low. And every boy in here with me got that smoke. And every girl in here gotta look me up and down. All on Instagram, cake by the pound. Circulate the image every time I come around. walk my way. Just tell me how it's looking, babe. Just tell me how it's looking, babe. I do this all for you, baby. Just take aim and tell me how it's looking, babe. Tell me how it's looking, babe. Looking, babe. Drop the bass, main the bass, get lower. Radio say speed it up, I just go slower. High like treble, puffin' on the mirrors. The man ain't ever seen the booty like this. And why you think you keep my name rolling off the tongue? Cause when he wanna smash, I just write another one. I sneezed on the beat and the beat got sicker. Young say all on his mouth like liquor. 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 Like liquor. Like liquor. Young say all on his mouth like liquor. Young say all on his mouth like liquor. Young say all on his mouth like liquor. Like liquor. Like liquor.
Wow, yet another super sassy, super attitude-filled performance, and I think we all love to see that kind of energy, that kind of personality coming out of not just the song, but the dancers as well. And Kendi, I know that you're someone who's a stickler for really bringing out that character in not just the fursuit, but also the song as well. And you've done it more than enough times for you to even bother counting. So Kendi, let's hear what you thought about that performance.
Oh yeah, I mean McMuffin, you just came out there. You were working that fast. You got out there. You knew what you wanted to do. I loved the performance. I liked the dynamics of the arms and how your arms were moving in different directions. The drops were really clean, really good. The only thing I would say is perhaps just bring yourself down a little lower when you do some of those moves, just to kind of give them a little more of a push, if that makes any sense. My teacher's always yelling at me, hey, get lower, get lower. So basically, just bend your knees a bit more down. Otherwise, I really liked the use of space and how you just executed every single move. So it was a really good job.
One more time, everybody, for McMuffin, despite the fact that all of these names are making me hungry. But it's okay, because like I said, we're hungry here for dance performances and not for dinner, because that's a Yeen problem, not a you problem. But you know what the problem is? The problem is that we're not getting to our dancers yet, because I keep on talking. I probably need to stop talking and get to showing off more dancers. So let's get on to our next performance, which happens to actually be our second duo for the evening. And this duo has plenty of playfulness to offer with their dance comp entry. So everybody, give a warm welcome to Okami and Singularity.
Just imagine a trip to a wonderful land, a candy and jam and ice cream.
I gotta hit that string, you better watch it. With a cat that I cock with a full clip. I got the whip, got the bitch that I keep it undercover. All up in the cup, just to live it up. See the stone cold face, try to knock it. I keep it tight, never walk on the rocket. I got a beat in it, I got a grip in it. I got a beat, got a beat, got a beat, beat, beat.
Oh my goodness. What did I tell you? That was such a fun performance by Okami and Singularity. I didn't want that to end. I don't know about all of you, and I especially know the dancers probably wanted to stop at some point, but I wanted them to just keep going on and on and on because I was having so much fun watching that. Oh, wow. I mean, Beta, again, you're the expert on, monkeying around and all that funny business on our panel. And I want to hear from you, especially on what you thought of that dual performance.
I mean, honestly, that hits the nail on the head when you said it. Fun. This was a fun performance, and honestly, it showed. You guys had a lot of fun putting this together. You really had a good time with each other, and just even making use of the prop in the area, just having fun with it. And honestly, at the end of the day, sometimes that's what it's all about. I could make critiques on little things like, execution or small things, but honestly, I don't think it's really needed here. I think the performance speaks for itself, and like I said, just had a good time. I do really, really want to say I love the use of that couch, though. That has been a centerpiece.
Absolutely. And, one thing that I think a lot of people aren't realizing, especially with these online dance competitions, is there's so much creativity that you can employ, whether it's at your home or in the park. Even something as simple as a bench could be used as part of your performance and really take it to that next level when it comes to storytelling or coming up with new moves. So absolutely, round of applause for Okami and Singularity there. So we're going to now switch gears again from the whole fun, happy, joy, all that good stuff. And we're going to go to a performer that has been a, mainstay on Anthrocon stage for a couple of years now. And this one always comes up to me looking all bitey and snarly and wants to probably eat me for dinner instead of, me having dinner. But at the same time, they always come with that fearsome energy and attitude. And I can't wait to see what they've got in store for us this year. So everybody, please give a massive welcome back to our stage. It's none other than Raze. Whoa, good job once again, Raze. You always bring the house down at Anthrocon's dance competition. I love seeing Raze coming back to our stage year after year. Whew. Well, judges, I leave it to your expertise in terms of what we thought on Raze's performance at yet another Anthrocon dance competition. And I want to call out Yuki in particular to give us your perspective on how Raze performed this year.
All right. So amazing as always. I Let me see. How do I go about this? All right. So, with your performance, I definitely loved your use of like using the notes to kind of dictate how you were going to move with your levels. Because like as the notes were kind of going higher, your body was going up or your body would go down with it. So that's like lovely. Not many people have that like attention to detail. So that was great. There were small parts of I guess like with the first song that felt like it had like a storytelling element to it, and I would love to have seen a little bit more of that to go along with it, because that would have made that first whole section like a lot easier to follow, because it felt like I guess like a lot of the motions uh, I don't want to say didn't have intention, because there definitely was, but it was, I guess, a little bit harder to follow because of it. But when it came to the second song, things kind of like picked up on energy, even though you had high energy from beginning to end, which is also very hard to do, especially in digigrade. Like, I don't know how you do what you do, but in all, like, it was just amazing. Very, very good work. That's my only critiques that I have for you. You're always great. I'm a big fan. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Absolutely. And like Yuki said, I'm a big fan, like Race, let's talk, share numbers and all that. Oh shoot, did I say that on camera? Oh, my bad. I'm definitely not fanboying over fursuiters here. Zeke doesn't do that on camera, definitely not. Well, we can move on from fanboying over fursuiters to fanboying over more dancers, and in particular, some extra detailed dancing. And that's something that I found really, really interesting that Yuki brought up, because it's so like what's the word for it? It's so kind of like convenient, seeing as our next dancer in particular knows all about being detailed. And in particular, there's so many details, like I said, with that other previous performance, that I don't think I'm going to have enough toes or beans to count them on. And everybody knows that Yin's got a lot of beans. So the fact that I can't count them on my beans means that you're going to have to pay attention to this one in particular, because coming to our stage, it's none other than Roman. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what to start thinking about that performance, because just trying to again capture all those details, it just almost like completely shattered my entire construct of thinking, and brain imploding, and stars and fireworks everywhere inside my head. Just yeah, no, the Yin beans have been absolutely expended in terms of being able to count all those details. There are no more Yin beans available. Sorry, folks. Whew. All right. Well, I gotta pass it off to, one of our judges who can definitely appreciate, not just those details, but also the cleanliness of a lot of those moves. And Kendi, sitting right beside me over there, is definitely someone to talk about that. So Kendi, what did we think of Roman's performance?
He was they were extremely clean, like very clean. Every move was precise. Every move was on point. And this is a good example of not having to hit every single beat just to make a point. His energy was right on it with the cleanliness of those moves and the texture, the control. The control was just amazing. I wish I had that control, but I'm more of a groover. And technically, yeah. For this, I would think Yuki also would like to say something about this as well. But for me, clean, loved it. It was just amazing.
I do want to add on to this. If this is who I think it is, and I think I know who this is, but your concepts and threading and everything are out of this world, and the amount of patience that you have to make sure that everyone is seeing exactly what you're trying to put out there is honestly phenomenal. I'm blown away every time I see like your practice videos and everything along the lines of that. So I have nothing to like say feedback wise. I just really wanted to let you know that like that was great. I loved that as a tutter to another, like amazing.
Sounds like we have, a huge approval across the judges panel. I mean, I think Beta Monkey in this case is probably speechless, right? Beta, just absolute speechless, just speak no evil. Everybody loved it, right? We're just gonna leave it at that. Well, everybody, one more time for Roman for that absolutely mesmerizing performance. All right, well, let's get on to our next dancer who has been making waves at many online dance comps in the past year's time. I mean, of course, we didn't really have any in-person dance comps, so it's not like they could have gone to an in-person competition, but because, they're still hungry to improve, still hungry to perform, and hungry to do better each time. Because, it's even if you're not making it to the top 3 or whatnot every single competition, as long as you're improving, that's what matters. And this dancer, in my opinion, has been one of the fastest improvers over the past year's time. So everybody, please give a huge welcome to Scarlett Jane Fox.
You're feeling right across the floor, and I'm already losing my mind. Baby girl, looking fine. Watch you playing these guys. Catch my stare, little smile. Tell me that you're ready and you're feeling the vibe. Someday I'll be so damn sublime. We'll arrive behind the hashtag sign. I won't forget you, but I may forget your name. I know what you're thinking when the bass starts ringing. Can you tell me when you're stoked to start? Are you ready for tonight? Setting it on fire, and we'll dance until we're dumb in the dark. My lady, I know what you're thinking when the bass starts ringing. Can you tell me when you're stoked to start? Are you ready for tonight? Setting it on fire, and we'll dance until we're dumb in the dark. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Watch me dear and say what you want to know. Beauty lies within the eyes of the beholder. I'll be holding you close all night. I won't forget you, but I may forget your name.
Oh, I don't think anybody's going to be forgetting that name nor that performance. I mean, I personally loved, again, that fun element, and I know we keep on coming back to it, but at the end of the day, it's like what Beta said earlier about having fun. And the whole point of these dance competitions and why we host them is so everybody can have fun. But seeing as how Beta is pretty much the expert of fun on this panel, let's hear from Beta on what they thought of this performance by Scarlett.
Thank you, Zeke. Honestly, I'm throwing myself off into a loop here. Scarlett, I just got to say, you have been improving leaps and bounds. Your technicality is getting stronger, your body waves, all of that. Honestly, I'm enjoying watching you grow into this, and I want to see what happens over the next couple of years for you. Something I want to say that might add a little extra dynamics to your performances is you did start off a little bit squared off with the camera a bit. And I think one of those things to kind of really elevate it is to try and break away from the need to be straight up in front of that camera, because you had so much dynamics and so much technicality growing into this that it was really already starting to stand out there. And I think that'll take it to that next level for you. And honestly, the ending is a good way of showing that you actually broke away from that square and it showed and made for a great ending. But other than that, no, it was a great performance. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, and it looks like a lot of people in the chat agree as well. So everybody, of course, round of applause for that wonderful performance by Scarlett Jane Fox. All right. We're going to move on to our next performer who, well, they understand that it's been getting pretty hot so far in the competition, and of course, getting hot elsewhere in North America at least, especially, again, like I mentioned, in the Pacific Northwest, or even if you're on the East Coast, it's boiling everywhere. But this dancer is probably staying nice and cool in the shade because that's what their name is. Their name is Shade. Get it? They're nice and cool because Zeke should probably stop talking at this point. Yeah, I'm getting buoyed by both Beta and Kendi right now for my terrible Yin dad jokes. Yuki's just giving me this shake of disapproval. I think I should probably stop at this point, right? Yeah, no, this is not the dad joke competition. This is the dance competition. So let's see what Shade's got for us.
I did 1 million stupid things. I said 1 billion foolish things. I'm not okay. I got a baseball bat beside my bed to fight off what's inside my head, to fight off what's behind my meds. I'm lonely, lost in pain.
It's alright, it's okay, it's alright, it's okay. You're not a monster, just a human, and you made a few mistakes. It's alright, it's okay, it's alright, it's okay. You're not gruesome, just human, and you made a few mistakes. It's alright. Oh, it's okay. Oh,
I throw a brick right through the window. My life ignored the signals. I am high and drunk on ego, can't see straight. So I just feel my way around, and I am touching, I am grabbing everything I can't be having. I am broken down in shame.
it's alright, it's okay, it's alright, it's okay. You're not a demon, there's a reason you behave in that way. It's alright, it's okay, it's alright, it's okay. And I believe, yes, I believe that you'll see a better day. It's alright. Oh,
It's okay,
oh,
it's alright.
oh.
I'm alright, I'm okay, I'm alright, I'm okay. I'm not a monster, I'm a human, and I made a few mistakes. I'm alright, I'm okay, I'm alright, I'm okay. I'm not gruesome, just human, and I made a few.
It's alright.
Oh my goodness. I definitely think Shade brought that cool and collected performance right there. See what I did there? All right, I'll stop. Well, before I continue with those terrible jokes, I think, yeah, we want to hear from the judges. Judges, please say, any judge want to say? No, the judges are just totally disappointed with me now. Yeah, I think I've been canceled from hosting from 2021 onwards. All right, well, I'll let Yuki do all the talking then, at least for a little bit, because I need to collect my own thoughts before we get on to the next answer. So, Yuki, what did we think about Shade's performance?
All right, hi. I was muted still. All right. So yeah, Zeke. First of all, you need to take a break. It's okay to stop talking. It's all right. Okay. But on the performance, I am in love with your power. Like at the start, it started off really powerful, and you have a great ability to use textures. And what I mean by that, for those who don't know, it's using like something very sharp and then going into something very soft. So there was times where they were very sharp, like throwing their arms out, and then it would be a very soft moment to like kind of follow behind it. And it definitely makes a very dynamic performance, and it was lovely. I definitely enjoyed that. My only critique would be you seemed very stationary. I know that there's not a lot of room for you, but you do have that a decent amount of left and right movement that you could be using. Forward, it is definitely kind of hard to move forward without like losing yourself in the frame. So I understand that much. But yeah, definitely try to use the space that you were allotted and do what you can with that. But that's my only critique. Overall, it was really a great performance.
Am I allowed to start talking again? Because Yuki was like, you can stop talking. And I was just like, great, I can go get dinner now. But I guess I have to keep talking. Drat! No Thai food for me anymore. But it's okay, because I've got dinner waiting for me afterwards. But before I get my dinner, everybody, a round of applause once again for Shade and that wonderful performance. All right, let's get on to our next dancer, who's got music as technically part of their name already. So, you know, when I see this next dancer's name, I'm pretty confident that they've got a good grasp of, you know, how to dominate the dance in terms of what they're specialized in. But we'll see if their name matches the game that they've got performed for us for this year's dance competition. So, everybody, please help me welcome to the stage, Tempo.
I used to worry about the shadows. I hated knowing there was something there that I couldn't see. I thought the monsters out my window, yeah, they were waiting for me. They were waiting for me. But now my views have started changing. Now I'm worried about all the things to come. Yeah, mostly I've been scared of failing. I feel the weight of the world is pushing down on me. Cause I could write every song and never say a thing. I could have what I want but still know what I need. I could hide all my problems inside a melody. Wish I could go back to the day when it was only night that made me afraid. When it was only lions and tigers, but now it's heartaches and liars. And wondering just what does the future hold. Cause I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I stand out by the ocean. It makes me notice there is something so much bigger than me. Keep trying to come up with the answers. I still don't know if I can figure it out. But in a life made up of moments, we're all nothing but memories. So much pressure on the present. People say who you gotta be. Empty faces in a crowd of people standing in front of me. Feels like everybody's watching. Cause I could write every song and never say a thing. I could hide all my problems inside a melody. Wish I could go back to the day when it was only night that made me afraid. When it was only lions and tigers, but now it's heartaches and liars. And wondering just what does the future hold. Wish I could go back to the day when it was only night that made me afraid. When it was only lions and tigers, but now it's heartaches and liars. And wondering just what does the future hold. Cause I don't know.
Wow, what a wonderful performance by Tempo. Very calm and collected and very measured. And, you know, I think that, you know, it was really, really kind of like drawing us into that story personally. I mean, I don't know anything about judging or nothing, but I really felt like I was being a part of the song, you know, and it put me in a pretty good mood too. So, Kendi, I'd love to hear from your perspective on what you thought of Tempo's, you know, use of the song and, you know, being all tempo-like and all that. So, Kendi, what did you think?
Well, Tempo, I really liked how calm it was. The performance was very, very soothing. At least for me, I loved how you kept moving your arms. The only thing is that the arm movements, while they are really, really good, could be utilized with more. More of the body movement with the arms, just to give more dynamics, more levels. Your legs. So if you move your arms, I think you would be really good at waving. I personally think waving would be very good for you because you have a very good control of your arms. And I like that about it. Otherwise, the performance is very soothing. I liked how you used the song with the mood, and it definitely drew me in with some type of like just calm, almost like a wave of story. So keep it up.
Awesome stuff, Tempo. And you heard it from Quick first, or Candy, rather. Sorry, Candy. Quick, Candy, both small packages, big dancers. You heard it from Candy first that, we'd love to see some more versatility in those styles. And I personally can't wait to see more next time you're at a dance comp, Tempo. So, everybody, again, one more round of applause for Tempo. Now, we're going to move on to our next performer who's hoping to be as smooth with their moves as their name might suggest. And let's see if that name and these moves, just like we saw with Tempo, are a match. So let's give it up for our next performer coming up on stage. It's Velvet Jinx. Oh my goodness, we're bringing it back old school with some Michael Jackson. I mean, I was waiting personally, not just for the electro swing stuff, but I was waiting for that retro stuff. And I know that more than one judge on this panel was definitely feeling that particular song. But we're going to start it off with Beta Monkey and see what Beta Monkey thought of that smooth grooving. And actually, we don't seem to have Beta Monkey's camera feed anymore. I don't know if Beta's still with us at the moment. Oh, we may not actually have Beta with us at the moment, but that's okay because you know why? I knew that Kendi in particular wanted to get in on this particular performance, and it seems that Kendi probably just sabotaged Beta's feed, so Kendi gets in on this prime performance. So Kendi, yeah, no, we see you, Kendi. We know that you wanted this one, and you definitely just you just went up to Beta and went, "Shh, go to sleep, child."
Just so I could have a word on a Michael Jackson performance.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I loved it. Like usually when people take Michael Jackson, they really want to get a lot of his moves into it. And I felt like Velvet had those moves down, but they also gave it a little bit of a spin of their own, kind of their own style, which I really, really loved. You were hitting those beats, the sharpness, getting down to the ground, because Michael Jackson, while he is sharp and very, precise, he's also groovy. So I really like that about it. The whole performance, I loved it. It was just very groovy, and you hit those points, and I was digging it. It's a great job. Is Beta back?
Oh, there we go. We got Beta back just in time. Welcome back, Beta. Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Well, I mean, we weren't going to blame Kendi for, that little blip that happened, but it seemed a little too convenient because, Michael Jackson. And then we were like we had a little chat on the side of like, who's going to take this? And Beta's like, no, me. And Kendi was like, oh, no, you don't. And we saw what happened. So, but we can't prove anything. So, we'll just pretend that, we'll just work with it. Beta, do you want to add a comment in though?
Aside from, I did miss kind of the tail end of it, unfortunately, but the one thing that stood out to me was just the fact that this was a performance that was, to me, focused very much around groove movements and just kind of groove-centric style, and yet it had dynamics and sharp movements and contrast within that. And it just goes to show that you can take even something that's considered kind of a groove style that's very just kind of like sway with music and make it into a dance that has all these other elements to it. That was kind of my big takeaway from it.
Absolutely. And like I said at the beginning, I knew there was more than one judge that wanted in on this. And I'm happy that we got both of you, if not a little bit of, dirty play in the backside. But it's okay. We're going to forgive you for that one. All right. Well, hopefully that's going to be the only technical blip that we have for the evening. And of course, as you all know, we're doing this from not necessarily the comfort of our own homes, but we're doing this, through the power of the internet and trying to make this work as best as we can. So on that note, hopefully we can all work together to be in person next year and not have to worry about our judges suddenly disappearing in the middle of the show, because that definitely won't happen on my watch. I hope, at least. But enough about next year, because we still got a few dancers left to cap off this year's competition. And this next dancer that we've got queued up, well, they have a bit of a story to tell about how we've all been feeling the effects of being in quarantine or lockdown. And this extremely versatile dancer, I believe, wants to share what that's like for them, and hopefully not for too much longer, especially now that we're all working towards getting back together. So everybody, please welcome to the virtual stage, Vixie Valentine.
But it's not clear when this pandemic will end. For those who are alone in isolation,
we start to deteriorate. It causes you to feel less pain.
Oh my goodness. I don't think we've seen a performance thus far that not only had that many kind of like crazy, like bam, bam, bam dynamic moments, but the effects that were also included, going the extra mile to really, capitalize on the creative aspect of a video dance competition, because everybody here is recording their videos at home and they've got the power of, technology in order to really elevate those videos to the next level and give us something that we've never seen before. And I think that Vixie Valentine's just done exactly that with that amazing performance. And I think, you know, Yuki, you and I, we could both agree that in terms of just the kind of power and the kind of sharpness that we saw from that performance was just absolutely out of the world. I think you'd agree with that, right?
Absolutely. First of all, hi crewmate, hi. So I don't even know where to start because, like, storytelling wise, like, you knocked it out of the park because we're all kind of feeling the effects of like what's going on here, and it kind of you relate that message very well with all of your movements and everything like that, as well as like kind of like the transitions. I'm gonna be all over the place. ADHD is gonna go at its finest. Okay, so like the way that you transitioned from move to move, everything kind of flowed and connected together. The concepts that you kind of used in order to kind of like make sure that everything blended together, I definitely see like the inspirations of in which they came from, and the way that you made them your own is very unique, and I loved how you put it all together to make this choreography. The effects, I'm gonna need you to like show me how you did that, but we can talk about that later. And also, I guess like critique wise, I don't think I have anything at this moment. I might have to rewatch it and we can talk. We know where each other are at. So, but yeah, amazing performance. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, not just amazing, but also I think really relatable too, you know, just the kind of, you know, the introduction about the whole lockdown and this whole virus just keeping us apart, and when is it gonna end? And you know, I'm feeling numb and I'm feeling cold and I need warm, fluffy fursuit hugs to bring me back to life. Wait, is that just me again? That's just me, isn't it? No, that can't be just me. I think all of us out there could be using some warm and fluffy fursuit hugs to, you know, remind us of the good times and getting back to normal. Exactly, yeah. Remember, hug your fursuiters with respect and gently, right? Public service announcements for all of those fursuiters out there and those that want to hug fursuiters. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I saw Beta being like, I agree with you. All right. Well, before we get to hugging all those fursuiters, once it's safe to do so, we're going to continue on with the last couple of performers in our dance competition. And coming up next to our online stage, we have another returning performance for this year. And they're going to be back with another high-flying performance that I believe they filmed at the same time as Matsuri did. But at the same time, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be full of flapping, flying action. And y'all are going to enjoy it because I know I certainly will. So everybody, give a huge welcome to You Puffin.
朝らしいよ思い出したら痛ましいくらい乾いてらないあよだかとらひどい中途心照らしと幻をついその醜い本性を乱れにさらすんだ時についたよねのの全部離ってくれそんな天使で好きになってたいだけ何も知りたくなどないかなみんなの名前で誰が救ってもうバイバイさ水に流すんださよセカンドステージで好きになってたいだけ誰も悲しみなど一つもいらないそして最後のだけどこがつついてもっと
Whoa. I mean, if you could put a video beside like a dictionary definition, I would definitely put that beside high flying right there. I mean, you got the burb and you got the wings and you got the flapping and then you got the cartwheels. Yeah, high flying, I think, is definitely going to be, featuring this video beside it whenever you look it up on the dictionary. Whew, but we're going to hear from our judges who have a bit of a better definition in terms of what was actually going on with that performance and how they thought of that high-flying action coupled with the music. So, Candy, I'd love to call on you to hear your thoughts on Puffin's performance.
And I actually love burbs, so I was drawn in right away to this cute burb here. The flow and the connection of all the moves worked really well with this song. I loved how there was no really pausing. Getting down on the floor and getting back up that smoothly is also a plus for me. Being somebody who has knee injuries, oh my goodness, I look like a fish. This burb was just like gracefully falling and getting back up. So kudos on that. Otherwise, I really don't have any critiques from my end unless anybody else does, but I loved it. Really good flow. Very good flow. That's all I could say.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, you gotta love burbs. What's not to love about burbs? Am I right? I mean, burbs, they got the little beaks, and then they got they got wings and stuff, and then they've got like those beady eyes that look at you, and then they sometimes chirp at you, or they balk at you. I mean, I don't know about balking. That's one kind of burb that I've heard somewhere around here locally. So I think those are the geese. Actually, wait, no, geese honk instead of balk. I might be confusing my burbs. I gotta brush up on my burbology here. Yeah. All right. Well, again, give it up for Puffin for another amazing performance once again on Anthrocons online stage. Now, it sucks to say, but we've gone through 21 out of 22 dancers, and I mean, if you do the quick math there, that means we've only got one dancer left for this evening, and it hasn't really felt like it's been an hour and 40 minutes or something like that so far, but apparently we've gone through all of our dancers that quickly, and I hope that everyone out there has been enjoying themselves as much as myself and my fellow judges have been. I can speak for my judges safely when I could say we are all absolutely floored by the amount of talent that has shown up this year online, especially because it's been so hard to really just get motivated to do things like dancing, let alone putting on a fursuit and dancing, right? That's extra work, and all of my judges, and I know it. But we're going to send this off on a high note because we'll be returning back to our home riverfront with this final performance for Anthrocon's online fursuit dance competition and yet another familiar face to our virtual stage. So everybody, last but not least, give a huge welcome to Zero.
I've been walking in the moonlight looking for you. I got nobody but my shadow to get me through. So put your lips on my scars and teach me to love. Give my slow heart the rhythm of a blood drum. I don't want you to go. I need more of you in my life. Nobody should be alone. Please let me take you home tonight.
I got too much dirt to come clean. Closets full of skeletons that you don't wanna see. We judge me, I'm ugly. I won't blame you if you do. No lies, don't wanna keep no secrets. Even if what I'ma say will leave you speechless. No secrets. If I introduce you to my demons, tell me, baby, would you love me less? If you know the places that I've been, if you know the damage that I did, would you love me less? No, 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 no. Would you love me less? If I had $1 for my sins, if you know the beds that I've been in, would you love me less? No, no, would you love me? No, no, no. Would you love me less? Would you love me less? If I had $1
Whoa, what a way to send it off for Anthrocon 2021's online fursuit dance competition with that amazing personality right on the riverfront of the Allegheny in Pittsburgh, where, as I've mentioned before, hopefully we can all get together there next year and, have ourselves an in-person dance comp. But give it up one more time. 4-0. And before we get to the judges' commentary, I want everybody out there to be dropping some claps, some fire symbols, some amazing, brain explosions, whatever you felt from all of these dancers. Show us right now how you felt in the chat on social media. Tell us what your favorite moments were, who your favorite dancers were. I want to see all of you just, letting all that love out for everybody that's performed so far tonight. Whew, oh my goodness. Well, again, like I said, that was our last dancer, and I hate to say it, but this is a competition, and they're only, that we have to do all the judging and the maths and all that kind of stuff. But while we're able to do that on the side, I want to hear from one more judge about Zero's performance. I'm going to call on Beta Monkey to provide their expert perspective on what Zero's performance was like.
I just want to start off with saying it's great to see you back in suit and dancing again, Zero. I know it's been a little bit since I've seen you last. I think, honestly, it was like A&E last year, just before COVID hit. I could be mistaken on that. It's been a while. Anyway, great performance as always. You know exactly how to take music and work with it. And again, great backdrop to go along with it. Good dynamics, good solid technicality in your movements. Pretty much the biggest thing I would say is you had a good amount of space to really work with, and you were moving across the floor a lot, but I kind of wanted to see you take that space a bit more. You move into it with a little bit more purpose and dynamic to it. But beyond that, I don't have a whole lot much else to critique on it. It's a great performance as always, and it's good to see you enjoying the dance.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, for all of our performers, not just Zero, but for all of our performers, we want to see all of you out there, giving some hypes, giving some hearts, giving some loves, everything, some fire emojis, some, I don't know, put some, whatever your favorite food is, because I'm still thinking about dinner on the side. I mean, look, I'm a hyena. I'm very simple-minded, okay? I sees food, I wants food, I gets food. That is the hyena credo right there. But we're going to hold off on the food thoughts because we want to at least wrap off this conversation, or not conversation, this competition. It is kind of like a conversation, but we want to wrap up this competition a little bit more formally than just talking about food. And I definitely think that all of you out there care about, what the top 3 is for this year, as well as all of our acknowledgements for this competition, because we're not doing this ourselves. I mean, we might be the ones on the stream right now, myself and the judges, but there's so much more that's happening in the background, and I want to make sure that everybody that's involved gets a little bit of love before we do announce our top 3. So I do want to at least start with some very, very quick but very well owed thank yous to our AV crew for supplying everyone here with this awesome competition and the whole weekend. I mean, if you've enjoyed yourself at Anthrocon 2021 online, I hope that you all have shown some love at some point to the AV crew, who is, comprised of a massive team. I can't even remember all of the names of everybody on AV, but please thank AV, thank everybody that that's worked on this weekend to make it possible from the safety and comfort of our homes, because without AV, we definitely wouldn't be here and we wouldn't have had this much fun over the weekend. And I also want to thank, all of the other members of Anthrocon staff and team as well, because like I said, without any of them, we would not be able to enjoy this particular convention, whether it comes from programming, whether it's dealers, whether it's the charity, whether it's, all of the people in the back end that make everything happen, everyone that has, made this weekend work. Thank you so much for doing what you do. We would not be here without any of you. And now I'd like to actually, call out my judges in particular, because I'll tell you honestly, this year in particular, it was a little bit of a wild goose chase to get 3 judges that would put up with my yeenness and, listen to this broadcast for a full 2 hours and then some. But in reality, these are experts in their field. They have all been in the fursuit dancing game for a long period of time. They're all extremely respected, and I personally could not be more thankful that I have their expertise on today's panel. So everybody, please show some love for Beta Monkey, Yuki, and Kendi being on our broadcast today. Everybody make some hearts, some hypes, all those cool emojis, whatever you cool kids do these days. All right. And of course, thank you to all the dancers as well. Every single one of you out there, whether you made it or not to this finals performance. I mean, that's the thing that really sucks, in my opinion, is that, you know, at the end of the day, because it is a competition, we can't have everybody qualify through and, you know, make a 4-hour finals show, as much as that would be cool. But at the same time, we want to remind you, on behalf of the judges and I, we want to remind you that, you know, there's always the next competition and never to stop training. You got to always keep that, you know, that kind of a chin up and, you know, keep going forward mentality when it comes to competitions, right? Keep working harder, keep on applying all the feedback and all the critique that you get, and, you know, keep on trying out, because, you know, one day you'll be back on this stage, or you'll be on this stage for the first time. Whew, all right, I've been doing a whole lot of talking so far, and I think we're all set for our top 3 scores so far. So I think we can start to present those right now. And I don't know if we can like do a virtual drum roll or something like that. You know, like just, I don't know, just like smack your desk a little bit, you know, tap your claws if you got claws. Exactly. The judges got it going on. All right. So coming in 3rd place for Anthrocon 2021's online dance competition, everybody make some noise for Roman. Woo! Roman! Amazing! Roman, you're the best. I love you. Roman, so amazing. Give me your number. Give me your room number. I mean, what? Oh, sorry, that was out loud. Oh, well, you know, you get my point. Roman is absolutely amazing. A very, very well-deserved placement. And again, showing all of that technical prowess, all those details, that was a treat to watch. Thank you so much, Roman, for that wonderful entry. And I can't wait to see that kind of performance in person. All right. Moving on to 2nd place, our runner-up position for Anthrocon 2021's online dance competition. Drumroll, judges. Everybody, make some noise for Vixie Valentine. Woo, Vixie, we love you. You're so amazing. Vixie, you're so handsome. Give me your Telegram address. I mean, what? Yeah, Vixie. Woo! Amazing job to Vixie as well, with the, you know, high energy storytelling that, you know, didn't sacrifice on the movements, on the dynamics, on the sharpness. You know, everything was essentially, you know, done to a crispy clean finish. And that's what we love to see at Anthrocon. All right, well, there's only one position left to announce, and that is the winner of this year's online dance competition. So judges, everybody, if you could indulge me one more time, digital thumb roll. You can hear all the claws tapping, all the feet shaking, all the floors breaking. And the winner of Anthrocon 2021's online dance competition is Kyochi. Woo, Kyochi, you're amazing. I love you. I'm your biggest fan. Send me your Telegram address. I'll slide into your Twitter DMs later. Woohoo! Kyochi, amazing. Woo! Kyochi, I mean, what can I say? That performance that you absolutely stunned all of us with at the dance competition, at this dance competition, we were sweating. I mean, we were literally sweating just watching that dance competition. And I believe that you have been a long time coming in terms of your first place. I mean, I don't know if that's actually true, if it's your first place, but regardless, your first Anthrocon first place. And it is more than deserved for you, Kyochi. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to the top 3 overall. And congratulations to all the dancers that made it to these finals for this year's Anthrocon online dance competition. I mean, I don't know, judges, do we have anything that we want to say on top of all of that? I mean, I'm sure some of you out there have at least, you know, some overall feedback, or just want to, you know, express your, you know, express how grateful you are for these dancers.
Just food.
Yes, or you could just be eating on camera, right, Kendi? Yeah, just shove it in my face. I mean, seriously, shove it right here. Here.
You kept mentioning food. I had some Cheetos.
Kendi, my mouth's here. Give me some Cheetos.
Wait, which way is it?
Got it, I believe.
There we go. Yeah, got it. All right, judges, comments on the competition. Go.
Hi. The comment I have for you guys is like I'm so proud of you guys for like continuing to like stay at this craft during all of what's going on. The fact that you guys are continuing to try and grow at a skill that is like just off to like no one really it's a niche thing. So the fact that you guys are putting in your time and effort is amazing, and I'm so proud of all of you for continuing to grow, because I've seen some of you last year, seen some of you guys back in 2019, 2018, FWA and everything, and you guys are still going hard, and I really appreciate that you guys are putting in the effort.
I want to add to that just this, not just growth in our dance community and seeing faces that we don't normally consider our regulars in a lot of these competitions starting to show up and really kind of take the stage, but also on top of everything else, just an increase in just adapting to our situation and having to do conventions remotely, and bringing out some interesting and new, unique ways of dealing with videography, as well as just as continuing to improve our dances. Like it's really cool to see what people are coming up with.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm always excited just to see like the new people that come in, you know what I mean? Just all the talent that's out there, and the ability to be able to bring it, because some people, you know, like they said, sometimes they can't make the actual convention. So this is a great way to see all the new talent coming in and all the new people. You all are just amazing. I'm just blown away. It's been a while for me, but I'm hoping that when conventions do become a thing again, I'll get to actually see and meet all you guys right on that stage and just keep dancing, keep doing what you're doing. You guys are so good at this. I enjoyed every minute of this. So.
Absolutely. And I want to echo that last part that you mentioned there, Kendi, about seeing everybody on that stage again. It bears repeating because, I mean, this is the last event of the evening, aside from the dances happening later on. But, you know, that's something that I think all of us are hoping for, is to see each other again, whether it be on the dance competition stage, whether it just be at a convention, whether it just be hanging out together. But hopefully this time next year, when the next Anthrocon rolls around, we can see all this new talent, we can see all of these familiar faces, and we can all, you know, continue doing what we love, but in person. So let's work towards that next year in 2022. But until then, I'm Zeke Hyena. I'm the host for your online dance comp. These are all my judges. This is all the AV people that I'm waving around to magically because, you know, I can't see them actually. And you're watching Anthrocon Online 2021. Stick around for the closing ceremonies that are coming up right after this. And until we see each other again, stay safe, stay awesome, and eat lots of flaming hot Cheetos. Yeah, do that. Do that last part for sure. Take care, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show.